Throughout centuries, the Bible has stood as a guiding light for people seeking to understand the human experience, the mysteries of life, the reasons for suffering, and the enduring promise of hope. When we open its pages, we encounter not just stories, laws, and poetry, but a profound narrative that speaks to the heart of what it means to be alive. To truly grasp what the Bible teaches about life, suffering, and hope is to embark on a journey of wisdom, comfort, and transformation. In the beginning, the Bible presents life as a precious gift. The opening chapters of Genesis describe God breathing life into mankind, forming humans in his own image and placing them within a flourishing world. Life, according to the scriptures, is not a random occurrence, but a divine masterpiece. Every individual is woven together with intent, purpose, and dignity, regardless of circumstance or status. The Psalms echo this sentiment, declaring that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. These verses invite us to view our existence not as mere chance, but as the handiwork of a loving creator. But quickly, the narrative acknowledges the complexity and brokenness woven into the human story. The entrance of sin, detailed in the story of Adam and Eve, marks a turning point where pain, toil, and death intrude into the gift of life. Rather than shying away from these difficult truths, the Bible confronts them head on. The struggles of biblical figures, Abraham's long wait for a promise fulfilled, Joseph's betrayal and enslavement, Job's overwhelming losses, David's trials, Daniel's exile are testaments to the reality that suffering is an inescapable part of the human journey. Yet, at every turn, the Bible offers profound reflections on suffering. It does not depict suffering as an arbitrary punishment, but rather as a reality that can shape, refine, and deepen a person's character and faith. The book of Job, perhaps more than any other, wrestles openly with the purpose of suffering. Job's laments, his questions, and his ultimate encounter with God become a window into a mystery that resists easy answers. The wisdom literature, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Lamentations, does not offer pat solutions. Instead, it acknowledges that sorrow, confusion, and hardship are part of a world in need of redemption. Amidst the darkness, the brightest theme emerges: hope. From Genesis to Revelation, the Bible is permeated with assurances that suffering is not the final word. The Psalms are filled with cries for help that turn into declarations of trust. Weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes in the morning. The prophets, speaking to a people often in exile or oppression, proclaim promises of restoration. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Hope in the Bible is not denial or wishful thinking, but a confident expectation rooted in the character and faithfulness of God. The life and teachings of Jesus bring these themes into sharp focus. Jesus affirms the sacredness of life in his compassion for the poor, the sick, and the outcast. He mourns at grave sites, heals the hurting, and teaches that every person matters. Yet he does not turn away from suffering. He enters into it. The cross becomes the center of the Christian understanding of suffering, as the innocent Son of God bears pain, rejection, and death. But the story does not end there. The resurrection is the ultimate declaration that life conquers death, that love wins over evil, and that hope is real even when all seems lost. Christ's followers are called to embrace this pattern of life, suffering, and hope. The Apostle Paul, writing from prison, speaks of a thorn in the flesh and enduring various hardships. Yet he proclaims, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame. To Paul, suffering is not meaningless, but a crucible through which hope is forged. James, the brother of Jesus, urges believers to consider it pure joy when you encounter trials, seeing them as opportunities for growth. Perhaps one of the most beautiful dimensions of biblical hope is its vision for the future. In Revelation, the final book of the Bible, the promise is made that one day God will wipe away every tear and there will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. This vision is not an escape from reality, but a beacon that empowers people to persevere in the present, grounded in the certainty that their struggles matter and that a better day is coming. The Bible also frames life as an opportunity, a journey with significance and responsibility. In the parables of Jesus, life is portrayed as something to be stewarded, invested, and not wasted. The call is to love God and love neighbor, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. The gift of life brings with it the invitation to meaningfully participate in the healing, redeeming work of God in the world. At the heart of all these teachings is the idea of presence, God's presence with his people. Whether it is Moses at the burning bush, David in the valley of the shadow of death, or the disciples on a storm tossed sea, the assurance of God's nearness is a source of strength and comfort. Jesus himself promises, I am with you always, to the end of the age. The Holy Spirit, described as the Comforter and Counselor, is said to dwell within believers, sustaining, guiding, and empowering them through every joy and sorrow. This divine companionship does not shelter people from the challenges of life, but it does offer a different way to face them. Suffering is no longer a sign of abandonment, but a place where God can be most intimately encountered. Hope is not an idle dream, but a living reality that transforms present circumstances. And life, with all its complexity, is a path walked not alone, but with God, who promises to redeem even the darkest moments. The Bible's account of life, suffering, and hope has resonated for millennia because it speaks with honesty and compassion to the real experiences of humanity. It does not ask its readers to pretend or to ignore the difficulty of life. Instead, it invites them to see their stories within the larger story of God, a story where every tear is noticed, every struggle is meaningful, and every hope will be fulfilled. For those who search its pages, the Bible offers not just ancient words, but living truths. It invites every seeker to bring their questions, their doubts, and their longings. It assures them that they are understood, that their pain is acknowledged, and that their future is held by one who is both powerful and loving. Ultimately, the divine truth found in the Bible is this, that life is a sacred gift, suffering is not without redemption, and hope is the sure anchor of the soul. To embrace this truth is to find the courage to endure, the grace to love, and the hope that does not fade, no matter what life may bring.